Welcome to How to Survive, the show that teaches you how to survive the stuff that can kill you.
Like lead in your water or a judgment day.
Oh my God.
Well, some people aren't going to be taken. Some people are going to be left behind.
Probably me.
And prison.
And the stuff that just makes you wish you were dead.
Like running from the cops. Mm-hmm. Or being the wrong size for your chosen sport. Or jail.
Oh man, so many things that can go wrong in life.
So much.
You know what's feeling right just about right now?
Our theme song?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, the words got a little jumbled.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. Ooh, how to survive. Ooh, how to survive.
Oh, someone's beyond ready to start
I'm
the
beyond
show.
ready. I'm beyond.
Okay, well, we better start.
Chris is in her leather Tuscadero outfit today. It's not leather, but it is a black jumpsuit.
Yes.
With your short hair. You're looking very, very
Happy days?
runaways.
Maybe. I feel like the vibe of this is, hey guys, listen. We're going to have to take out the transmission. Right?
Right.
And I know how to do it. Do you know what my son couldn't believe the other day because we were watching Riverdale, and there's going to be a drag race. It's going to be Archie and Jughead against the Viper. I think they're called the Vipers or the Snake Pit Boys.
Serpents.
The Serpents. Thank you. And Betty is fixing the car.
Snake Pit Boys.
I like Snake Pit Boys.
I think that works.
And so Betty's fixing the car. It's a Chevelle, so I was very excited because that was the car I had. And he goes, she can fix the car?
Is he still on the
I'm
Andrew
telling you.
Tate thing? What's
I
happening?
got to keep him off the internet. It's bad.
I like that he can believe all the fiction he watches, but that's testing him.
He can watch The Flash and that's believable.
Yeah, he runs around the world in a second.
I go, you know who else can fix a car? Me.
Is that true though?
Not anymore.
Could you at what?
Yes, I could.
I just want to tell you quickly that so I forgot to tell this last week. So I had a second CAT scan. It turns out my back's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just gonna have to have pain for the rest of my life.
Same.
But mine is pretty minor, so I'm not actually worried about it. But so I went in for my second CAT scan, and they gave me I made sure I didn't wear any metal, so I didn't have to change. And then they were like, I had socks on, and he goes, oh, and here's these socks, and they're like the safety socks. They're they're not just padded on the outside,
Yes.
like they actually have the rubber thing like all around in case
yes.
you just like want to take a nosedive into the ground or something.
Forward. Or like
So-
you don't know which way to put socks on.
I don't. Yeah.
Why do they do it on
right.
both sides?
I don't know. It's so stupid. So I said, maybe they have that problem. So I said, do I really have to put these on? I mean, I'm not. He goes, well, they're so you don't slip. I go, I know. I go, I'm not an invalid. Do I really? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, fine. So I put them on.
So it's a CAT scan, not an MRI.
I'm sorry, an MRI.
Oh,
I said
okay.
the wrong thing, MRI. So I put them on, and I'm in the MRI. Mm-hmm. And then I remember not 3 minutes before I'd had this discussion about the socks.
Yeah.
I had come in the main lobby
Yes.
of the building. It was an automatic door, and I basically like ran into the door. Like I don't know what happened, but it like basically like pinned me. I don't know what I did. I hurt my shoulder.
Yeah.
And then like
You needed another MRI.
that's what I said to the security guard, but she didn't get it. And I was like, how dare I say I'm not an invalid?
Yes.
I don't need these when I just walked into an automatic
Well, they
door.
saw it on the cameras and they were like,
They
we
must
need the
have.
socks.
You know what, that must-
We need the socks.
Get the socks.
We've got one in here.
Get the socks.
Okay. I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not watching the news.
Yeah.
I'm not really reading the news. I'm kind of staying away from the news.
Same.
What are you feeling with that?
Oh, with not watching the news?
Yeah.
Well, I joined Blue Sky. So
Oh, I'll join Blue Sky.
Yeah,
Because
so-
I left Twitter.
I have to figure out how to get the show on Blue Sky.
We can do that. That's
yeah.
easy.
So I guess Oh, well, I finished my book. I finished reading Master Slave, Husband, Wife, Master Slave, which was excellent.
Okay.
Highly recommend it.
Yes.
Not sure why it hasn't been made into a movie. I'm guessing maybe it is going to be made into a movie. I meant to look that up. I don't know. Really, really good. Yeah. So just that, I guess. I don't know.
Those are all good things.
And then that show, Jesus Christ. My Brilliant Friend.
Yes.
I watched that, and yeah, I guess that's about it.
I like all of it.
What about you?
Well, we started watching season 2 of Shrinking.
Okay.
Like it. Mm-hmm. Have some problems with it.
Yeah.
But, you know, we can get into that in the bonus episode.
Okay.
I am looking at a lot of puppies and kittens.
Yeah.
That's when because I still have that urge where I want to look at my phone.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, nope, you're not going to look at the New York Times.
Right.
Because you don't need to know. You don't need to know what Fox News host he's confirming. Like, that's.
Yeah. I mean, I'm picking it up. I hear it all. I'm just not like reading about it.
I hear it all too. Like, but I was very much a person who listened to political podcasts and would read the news. And I'm like, it doesn't it's not going to help you emotionally.
Nothing's
right
changing
now.
anything.
Like,
so
it's not going to just ignore it for now. You can always dip back in later, but I don't need to have a sense of outrage right now because I need to protect my mental health.
Yeah.
So I do have a lot of knowledge about, like, if you were like, I wish I knew how many Hemingway kittens were in the 50-mile radius, I could inform you of all of those kittens and cats.
Right. Well, when you go on Blue Sky, people are excited that there's new people because there's a huge influx of people. So they're like, hi, I'm new here. My name is Mr. Bojangles. Like, it's a cat.
Yes.
And they tell you all about them. So you will see lots of cats on Blue Sky.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's fun.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
So that's my sort of fun thing that I've been keeping myself busy with. And, Riverdale with my kids.
Right.
A lot of sex on that show.
Oh.
It's like, as soon as Betty lost her V card to Jughead, those two, and
are they supposed to be high schoolers?
Yeah, they're all in high school, and Veronica and Archie. It's like they're just having sex now. I don't know what season we're in, but it's a real fuck fest, and I love it.
You love it.
On the poster.
But isn't that weird? I mean, isn't it weird to think, but these are supposed to be high school kids? Like, it's just
yes.
It's always been that way, though.
I know.
They're in a cabin.
But now we're old. It's just fucking weird.
They're in a cabin. It's funny because they're in this cabin, like, getaway weekend, and they're all, like, drinking wine, and, like, they go shopping at this little store and get fancy candles. And I was like, Sven, doesn't this just remind you of high school? Because it's so ridiculous.
Not doing it under the bleachers, but having like some romantic
they're in some, like,
weekend.
really high.
The parents don't care that they're away.
It's like it's like nobody cares that, like.
That was like Beverly Hills 90210. They just always seem to be having sex.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, my hope is just that this is giving my kids a lot of masturbation material.
That's your hope?
Yes. And so that they don't go to internet porn,
right.
That they're just like, this is enough.
It's just they're having way more sex than high schoolers actually are.
Especially now.
That's what I mean.
I mean, that's super true.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I was actually feeling a little tired today, but I had my Magic Mind, and now I'm like raring to go.
You know what it
does?
does?
It's not like a caffeine. Sorry. Yeah.
No. It just gives you that boost.
Yeah. It makes you kind of like awake and alert without the shaky shakes of caffeine.
I don't need those shaky shakes.
You don't need the shaky shakes.
I've had those enough in my life.
Yeah.
I like the taste.
Yeah, I do too.
I like the little tartness of it, and it feels fresh.
Yeah. It's like kind of grapefruity, but
yeah, that's a good citrusy.
Citrusy, but not like very sweet.
It doesn't make me go parch.
What does make you go parch?
That doesn't even actually make sense.
No, parched means thirsty, but you mean
tart? Like
tart,
when you bite like a lemon and it makes you
into the back of your jaw.
It hurts.
Yeah, it's like that thing.
Yes. I'm glad it doesn't do that noise you just made.
It does in my head. They always do that on Great British Bake Off. He's like, yeah, I can feel like he does that, like it feels in his jaw.
You know what would be a great collab of Magic Mind?
Yes.
Magic Mike.
Oh, naked.
Yes.
Health shots.
Yes. If it was just like men, really sexy men with their 8-packs,
Yeah.
and then they did the shots.
Or you could do it, like at fancy places, or conversely, really unfancy places.
Yes.
Where they have like a thing where there's like liquor running down an ice sculpture, and then you're supposed to drink it right from the ice sculpture.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I do.
You do.
I do.
They could do that with the Magic Mind, but on the abs of the Magic Mike guys.
Yes.
And then you could drink it right from there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Abs. Garen, are you into this idea?
I've already booked that.
Oh, he's got it.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed. That's what I was doing.
You booked a pool hall for this to happen in?
It's a pool hall with an ice sculpt. Oh, wait, no, we're not using ice. We're using an abs.
Yeah, well, we could have ice too.
You want 8. I think 6 is enough.
Yeah,
That's true.
8 seems like a circus act at that point. I'm not sure that you
Couple
have that
too many.
Yeah, something's gone wrong. There's
You
been
do
some
your laundry on 8.
gene
6 you can just
splicing.
drink.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm not into somebody that's that ripped. I don't know why I keep saying 8. I've been
No.
watching too much Riverdale.
Are the kids ripped?
They're so ripped, it's uncomfortable.
Well, maybe they're very healthy because they're drinking Magic Mind.
You know what?
Yep.
They are for sure, and the dads look good too. I'm not.
Oh, who's the dad? Oh,
Remember?
Oh, yeah,
Skeet?
Luke
Skeet and Luke Perry.
Yeah, right.
Our old. I don't
Are they
wanna call them old.
shirtless?
No, but they could be. Like, let's
Okay.
see some more shirtless dads on the show. I'm not a perv.
That entire cast is hot.
Yes.
Like, I don't think there's a single not hot person.
Do I need to start watching Riverdale?
Yes,
It's,
you do.
It's not terrible. It's fun.
It's fun to watch.
Okay.
It is. Sven keeps going, I can't understand the time period we're in. Like,
Oh, didn't you say it's intentionally not specific?
well, it's modern because they have cell phones, but then he's like, well, Betty looks like she's in the 50s, but then Veronica's dressing modern. And I was like, look, all you need to know, it's from the creators of Arrow. And he was like, oh, okay.
It gets bizarre, wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
happens
maybe
on
I'll
that show.
start watching it. I have energy now to watch it.
Yes.
I'm not gonna fall asleep because I've had my Magic Mind. It's keeping me alert. It's keeping me healthy. It's keeping me happy.
I can see your eyes are very bright.
They're gleaming.
Yes.
Right?
If you want gleaming eyes,
Well,
like Danielle's.
I don't know if we can promise that. I mean, well, I went to the podiatrist yesterday, so that's how old I am. So I need anything I can get.
Did they say you need some specially made shoes?
They said I need special arches
Yes.
to put in the shoes, which is probably true. I mean, I think it is true. This was the nicest doctor I've ever had in my life.
Aw.
He was so nice. I was like, because I wasn't feeling well yesterday, but I was like, I have to go to this appointment. And then he made me feel so good for
love
the
that.
10 minutes I was in there. And then I went back and I was like, me
then
no feel good.
Ended. Can I tell you something? I got a pair. All my shoes are basically orthopedic now, and I bought a pair of Danskos. Are you familiar with them?
No.
Number one shoes of nurses.
Dance coast?
True. They're clogs,
Oh, okay.
but also like hip people wear them too.
I've seen hip people wear clogs. I'm not really buying it, but okay.
Well, I got a pair because they were very marked down at a store, and I was like, I'm getting some. And I've worn them a few times, and I like them just fine. You'll see them. I'll wear them here. And we were at a soccer game the other day, and there was like a little curved, arched over old man sitting next to us, and Alex goes, "Look, Mom, that guy has your shoes."
Oh my god.
And he literally had the same
That's amazing.
pair on. And I was like, "Yep, that's the kind of shoes I wear now."
Oh no.
Okay, and Danielle, before I forget to mention this, you have a limited offer you can use now that gets you up to 48% off your first subscription or 20% off one-time purchases with code HOW220 at checkout. You can claim it at
Yes.
www.magicmind.com/HOW220.
That's such a good deal.
Right? Who doesn't?
Holy moly. You might as well try it for that.
Come on, who doesn't?
And you're
going to
like it, I promise you.
You will like it.
Well, speaking of things we like, are you ready to learn what we're going to survive today?
You know, all I want to do is survive, Danielle.
We are going to learn how to survive prison.
Yes, let's get into it. I'm in the right
Yes.
jumpsuit for that, except
You
it's not
are.
orange.
No, it's black, faded black with some little flower details.
Little baby flowers. I sewed these on myself.
Okay.
For a
Believe
second,
that
I
for one
believed it.
second. Okay.
There's an awful lot of them.
I can't read the news. I've got to learn how to sew. If you're like me, you probably pictured jails and prisons with small cells with bars on the windows and maybe a cot or a bunk bed with nothing much more interesting to do with your time than read or stare at a wall. This is not what your living conditions will typically be like in a state prison. More often than not, you will be housed in something more akin to an army barrack.
Well, I don't know what that is. But
Well, a bunch of, like a
Oh.
bunch. It's not like it's just you and one person in a cell. It's like
multiple.
lots of beds in a row.
I don't like that.
Like a
Better.
camp.
I don't know if I think
cabin.
that's
Yeah.
better.
Did you watch Orange is the New Black? I think they
Yes.
had that in there.
Yes. That sounds kind of scarier to me, actually. I think
Yeah,
I'd
I know,
be
right?
alone.
Depending on your facility, your behavior, and a number of other factors, your day-to-day life will probably reach a level of normalcy as you adjust. One opportunity that you will have is work release.
Oh, I want that.
Yes.
What's the job?
Well, we've all seen signs on the roads and highways that say something like, "Caution, state prisoner warrant, prisoners working."
I have never seen that.
I've seen it once.
Never in
I've
my
seen it
life
once.
that.
But you never seen a bunch of people in jumpsuits working on the side of the road?
On
Isn't that-
television?
Oh,
I've seen
it.
that.
I don't
I've
think
seen
I've
it.
ever seen it in person.
I've seen it. I've always thought it was people who were doing not customer service. Jesus.
Oh,
service.
maybe
Community service
maybe
hours.
that's it.
Maybe
yeah.
I saw that. Maybe I did see that once.
You've never seen
actually.
people chained to the ankles,
Oh,
pushing boulders down it. You've never seen.
You've never seen a chain gang?
I
Gary?
forgot the chains.
With the-
My bad.
with the
I forgot about the
accompanying
chains.
Singing the
bluegrass
song.
You've
never seen them singing the song?
Yeah.
Boulders. My
Sparks
bad.
coming up.
Yeah.
How stupid could I be?
While work release is definitely not going to be fun or glamorous work, it is still an opportunity to be outside of the prison walls and engage with the rest of society, if only superficially. Work release will open up the opportunity for unsavory activity. There may be certain guards who are comfortable giving inmates a bit longer of a leash, wink, wink, than others. Similarly, there may be jobs or job sites that lend themselves to being out of sight of the guards. Always remember, breaking DOC's Department of Corrections rules will make your time in prison far less pleasant, and depending on the severity of the violation, can land you with a new criminal charge. Don't be tempted to engage in shady activities just because your work release gives you a modicum of freedom. You can quickly lose that benefit and find yourself having a much worse time.
I would never even consider breaking a rule. I would be the most like brown-nosing
Right.
prisoner that would be following every single rule.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go all over the place because there's lots of things that are covered here.
Good.
And I also got it from two different sources. One is from a law firm, and one is from a
Beard of Justice.
Beard of Justice.
Yeah.
Right. And one is from a place called Prison Fellowship, which is like a religious thing, but it's like for prisoners by prisoners.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. Exercise in prison. Another common Hollywood prison motif is a cell block or open yard with inmates lifting dumbbells or spotting each other on the bench. Unfortunately, you're not going to have access to Hollywood prisons, and you'll have to go without legitimate exercise equipment.
Oh, because they could hurt each other with it, right?
Yeah,
be a
and then maybe
weapon.
they just can't afford it. They're not.
Yeah.
You're not getting Pelotons, and they're not getting a subscription to Peloton in jail.
Yes, that's true.
That said, there are still plenty of creative ways to work out while you're in prison. One of the common favorites is filling a large filling a large trash bag full of water and using that as resistance for a type of front lateral raise, or however you want to lift it.
Yes.
Another simple prison workout that is very commonly employed is push-ups with another inmate sitting or pressing on your back to add resistance.
I don't need that. I can barely do that without somebody there.
But didn't you ever do that in gym where someone sits on your feet and you do sit-ups?
Yes.
I like that they have the buddy system in jail
Yes,
too.
yes.
Hey, come and sit on my feet.
It's a way to make a friend.
Yeah, I think it's fun. Would you rather them sit on your feet or your face? I'm just saying.
Feet. Well, it depends on who it is.
Yeah.
I'm guessing both of those happen.
I don't actually cover that in this.
It gets lonely.
Yes. Some food offerings will also have an alternative entree available for vegetarians and those with religious restrictions.
See, Danielle, that no one's going to make you eat meat in prison.
Right. Additionally, DOC is able to provide certain kosher food options if needed for religious-based dietary restrictions. If you have other necessary dietary restrictions, make sure you have documentation of those things with someone you trust on the outside, and make sure you share your concerns with DOC.
I only eat Michelin-starred food.
Yeah, it's my religion.
Yes, it's a religion I have.
Yeah. Depending on the nature of and rationale for a special diet, DOC may be able to accommodate you. No matter what, DOC is obligated by law to take protective care of inmates in its custody.
Except in like Texas, where a lot of the prisons don't even have air conditioning.
Yeah, well, those might be private prisons.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of private.
You know
prisons.
that whole thing.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I don't get into that here.
Okay, don't get into it.
Violence can and will happen.
Oh, that's what I'm scared about. Well,
one very common pitfall that is frequently at the root of violence. This is so interesting to me, both in and out of prison, is gambling.
Oh.
Gambling is very common in DOC as it can make for a fun and distracting way to pass the time. However, racking up a massive debt, or really any debt that you can't pay, is going to put you in danger.
Hey, how about study for your PhD instead?
I'm going to get to that. You absolutely do not want to find yourself owing anyone money in prison.
No, I don't want to do that in life.
So you may ask, why do you need money? There's the commissary.
Yeah, man.
So that's another way to get food. If you don't like the grub they serve, they don't call it grub, they call it slop or something.
Yeah, it's where you get your ramen noodles.
You get your ramen noodles there. And
soap?
Twinkies. Yeah, and soap and all those sorts of things. Okay, prison don't number 1.
Okay.
Staring.
Oh, God. Germans probably don't do well in prison.
Do they stare a lot?
They do. They really just will stare at you and like openly and beyond a point of what I consider as an American very rude.
Really?
Yeah. They'll just openly stare at you.
And you mean they don't know you? They're just strangers staring at you?
Yes.
Okay.
It's wild.
The first may seem obvious, but it is also a bad habit some people develop in the real world that can come back to bite you while in prison. Do not stare people down or lock eyes with other inmates. While this is probably considered impolite or bad etiquette out in the real world, it's unlikely that making prolonged eye contact with a stranger at Starbucks will yield much more trouble than a dirty look or possibly an unpleasant comment. In prison, that same eye contact could mean the difference between finishing your lunch in peace and getting into a physical conflict that won't end well for you. If you find yourself staring blankly ahead and accidentally lock eyes with someone who isn't a friend, just look away and try to carry on living your life.
God, I'll just have my eyes removed.
Yeah, right?
Just take them out.
Prison don't number 2, asking why other inmates are there.
Oh.
Don't ask other inmates what they're in for.
Man.
If you have recently been convicted of a crime sufficiently serious to send you to DOC, and there is a good chance you're not feeling particularly happy about the conviction, you will not be the only inmate feeling that way. At the end of the day, every inmate in your facility is there for a reason. If an inmate hasn't volunteered details about their conviction, just leave well enough alone.
You know what's hard about that, Danielle?
You gotta make small talk.
It's the only thing I want to know.
Right?
I mean, is there anything you want to know more about the person?
I also didn't know that wasn't cool to ask that.
It's in every movie.
Yeah,
That
how
they
do you
say,
not-
what are you in
What are you
here
in
for,
for?
right? It's an icebreaker.
Yeah, yeah.
But, they should go around hey, my name is Adam. I'm in for
triple homicide.
They'll get out of the parachute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my God. That would be better if they really made it like a thing where you had to have a shirt where it just said,
Yeah.
or everybody wore like a certain bracelet.
Insider trading.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you'd know, like you could all the fraud people could hang together.
Right.
All the like pedophiles could hang together.
But see, I think that's part of it. Because if you're in for, maybe this is just in movies, but if you're in for pedophilia or rape,
you don't want people to know.
you're dead meat,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, if it really isn't anyone else's business, and there is no need for you to be the one who brings it up. When in doubt, simply don't ask. Okay, this is also like camp, making friends.
Yeah.
One key place to look for people with character is the chapel programs. Again, this is from a religious thing, so
okay.
but kind of makes sense. Many now, I don't know if this is true. Obviously it's true. I never heard of it. Many states manage faith-based pods or units like the Prison Fellowship Academy and others. There is a world of difference on these units, and it's worth finding out if you can access them. Chapel programs vary in quality like anything else in life, but check it out. See if wise counsel and possible friendships are available at your location. I think I'm finding God.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to pretend that I am a Christian, and I'm going to see, can I get in that faith-based pod where I just hang out with other people who are also faith-based Christian? I'm just going to be like, I'm good.
Right.
I think I'm faking it.
Well, a lot of people, I've heard that people will fake, they'll join like
Muslims.
like Nazi group, white supremacy groups.
Right.
Because they'll say, well, maybe they are actually just saying they weren't really white supremacists, but like for protection.
Right.
They'll join different groups because they feel they're protected in them, even though they don't necessarily feel like they, align with the values. It's more about like, I had to.
I don't think I'm
safe.
finding like a group of agnostic Jews in my jail. You know what I mean? That might be a little too niche.
It might be a low population of them.
Right.
It's
or maybe just like Succession fans or something.
Oh yeah, you know what you do?
Yeah.
Just like in middle school, you could start your own club.
Oh, start your own club.
People
Go
who
out
really
there.
love 80s sitcoms.
There you go.
And you meet in a TV room.
That's right. Yeah, that's
So,
right.
then
Then it's Small Wonder Day, and then we all talk about Small Wonder.
There you
and,
go.
Yeah.
I think you found
You can't really poke someone's eyes out with a sharpened toothpaste container tube if you're bonding over Mr. Belvedere.
You don't think that the feelings can get hot over
Whether or not you liked Chrissy or Cindy or Terry better on
Facts of Life?
No, on Three's Company.
Oh, I got mixed up.
Who says Cindy?
Was it not? Cindy was the middle one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you can't land a bunk in a faith-based unit, you'll probably be in GP or
Nope.
general population.
I need VIP status.
You may think you have little in common with other prisoners, but this will change as close sleeping quarters overcome matters of race, age, and social status. Well,
Do you think, look, we are not anywhere near being famous, but do you think in prison the fact that we have been we've written for TV,
no,
and we've been on TV,
yeah,
and we have this podcast, do you think that's enough to get us out of GP?
absolutely not.
God damn it.
People in prison probably have podcasts.
No, I know.
I mean, Jesus.
Like award-winning podcasts.
They probably have a lot more listeners than we do.
For sure,
And
for sure.
They've got a hook.
Yeah.
for sure.
No, I think Ear Hustle is a prison podcast that's actually like
Ear Hustle?
Yeah, isn't
Is
that
that
what
a
it's called?
real podcast from prison?
I think so.
I was just riffing, but I...
No, I think there is a really
I assume it's
legitimately
true.
like award-winning.
Yeah,
like it's
sure.
probably won like a Pulitzer. But
No, I don't think we're getting any sort of... No.
I'm gonna try.
Good luck.
No, I'll let you know how it goes.
Those in the next cell or cubicle can become the guys or gals you hang out with from day to day. In time, the relationships you build will reap rewards as you support each other through tough times. Everyone needs friends, but how you choose them makes a world of difference. Slowly build ties with others interested in true rehabilitation.
Yes,
Try not to lean heavily on just one friend.
that's my thing though.
I know, but listen, that person may suddenly be moved to a different building, transferred, or released.
That's gonna devastate me.
Right? A small circle of friends will be more stable for all of you.
It's hard for me, but I'll do my best.
Protecting yourself. Be careful about owing anybody anything.
I'm not gonna gamble.
Right. Debts in or out of prison are future trouble. They don't add much to your respect either. The bill may come due at an awkward or unexpected time. I was going to leave this out because I'd already talked about the gambling, but this is the other thing.
Yeah.
Avoid asking for favors from people you don't
Okay.
know. Everything has its price.
Yeah.
Avoid volunteering information about your personal life until you know you can trust someone.
Okay.
As they told you when they read you the Miranda rights, it may be used against you. Listen more than you talk. Don't whine or complain.
Listen more than you talk.
Yeah, these are hard. Everyone is suffering. Learn, endure, and you can make a good transition to prison life.
Boy, some of that sounds like you can apply it to real life.
A lot of it does. Yes. Yes.
Well, here's what I think is going to be effective. Danielle, you're going to have to become someone's prison wife because I don't think you can fight.
Do you think you can fight? You have you have experience.
I do have experience, but I think I'm too weak. I think I'm going to have to start working out now more, but you are stronger because you do Pilates a lot.
I can't fight. I don't have any. No.
You don't have the street smarts for it.
No.
I think I do. I think I'm going to need to fight somebody right away.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm going to still need to take a wife who's tough. And we'll be tough together. I think that's my only tactic.
We're Laverne and Shirley going in there. I mean, we're a nightmare. I don't think we're going to be.
I don't need to be. I'm not a leader, but I need to make sure I'm not going to be.
You got to fake it.
I got to fake it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be like the short, tough one.
Yes.
Who's like, but then you're my muscle.
Yep.
Because I can't really do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could plank on someone, but other than that, like I don't.
Hey, everybody,
that might be something somebody wants.
Someone might like
she
that.
can plank for 5 minutes, so don't fuck with her.
Don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
And yet, really no upper arm strength.
But still.
Just enough for that. I can't plank for 5 minutes, though. I can maybe do 2 minutes.
No, I think you could do. You got to do the fitness test. The New York Times fitness test. I'll send it to you.
Oh, is that like the presidential fitness test when we were in junior high?
It's better because you only have to do 3 things.
Oh, okay. What are the 3 things? Do you know?
One of them is a plank. How long you can hold a plank.
Okay.
Another one is a grip test where you have to hang off of
Nope.
a. No, it's not.
It's just the hanging. It's not the getting. It's not the lifting
You don't have to
up and
lift.
down.
No,
okay,
no,
I
it's
can
just
hang.
hanging. And another one is like it's like a speed thing where you have to like run walk for 12 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like you do a math equation and then it tells you if you're okay or not.
I thought the math equation was part of the test.
Look, I could do the math equation, so
Okay.
you'll be able to do it.
Okay. Okay. All right. For prisoners who may or may not have a job behind bars, filling in the hours is a priority.
Yeah.
Your brain works like a muscle. The more you use it, the better it gets. But leave it in neutral a while and it begins to get rusty. It's very important to keep your mind active when you are in prison. Get busy living.
Let's teach joke writing
Oh my God.
in prison.
I could teach how to make carrot ginger dressing.
Yep.
If they, I mean, I don't know if they're allowed to have access.
You might have to
knives.
adjust you might just have to adjust that carrot ginger dressing more towards toilet wine.
Yeah. Well, I could.
Yeah.
I mean,
You got to make some concessions.
yeah, the miso is really the main ingredient.
Yes.
So if you have the miso in it, it's fine.
It might be miso is substituted for Kool-Aid packet.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Get busy living. What are some alternatives to watching television? I need this for my real life. Can you go back to your cell/dorm/cubicle and read a good book? Attend a class over at the education department.
Yes.
Visit the lonely and quiet library. Write encouraging letters to your family. Do crossword puzzles
Yes.
or learn to play chess.
No, I don't want to play chess, but I could quilt.
Do you
I
know
have
how to
access
do
to
that?
sewing machine? Yeah.
I made a conscious choice to keep up good contacts with family and friends, an effort to keep up as much normalcy in my life as possible, says Gerard, a Pennsylvania prisoner. I humbled myself. What?
I thought his name was Gerard, Pennsylvania.
That's not a bad name.
It's not. I kind of like it.
I humbled myself, let people know my situation, and have had wonderful contact through phone and mail and visits.
Aw.
Maintaining your relationships with your family, if appropriate, is an important part of your personal journey to restoration. Reconciling with family and loved ones will motivate you to make the most of your time in prison. It will also spur you on towards successful reentry after your release. But how can you keep in touch with people when you're behind bars? Through visitation, writing letters, and phone calls from prison. Tips for calling home from prison.
Okay.
When calling home collect, consider calling different members of the family rather than always calling the same person. Time your calls. Agree that you'll say goodbye when time's up. This is all about costs. The bills that come with calls can sink a family budget. I mean, this is something I wouldn't have thought of.
Is it still like that with these calls?
I guess so. This is from the web.
With even cell phones and stuff, it's still the.
Do they allow them cell phones in prison?
Oh, I meant on the other end.
Oh.
Because how does it work? Like,
That's a really good question.
Is
Maybe
it-
this might be obsolete.
so when a prisoner's calling, they're calling usually like from a payphone that they're all walking up to, right?
Yeah.
A prison phone, but the charges are being.
Yeah.
It'll
to
say,
the-
"Will you accept these charges?"
Yeah.
And most people don't have landlines anymore,
Right.
so they're answering on their cell phone. I'm just imagining.
No, you're maybe this is obsolete.
No, I don't think. I don't.
Also, how much can that cost nowadays?
That's
even
what I'm
to do
thinking.
that?
Because I remember when like I traveled to Australia and I had a phone card
Yeah.
to call home.
Yeah.
But I was like, and it used to be, remember, it used to be like, oh, I have to get off the phone. This is long distance.
Yeah.
But like, is that even a thing?
The long distance I don't think is a thing anymore,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure about
The prison calls.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
But they do say
Aaron, maybe you'll find out for us.
plan your calls by making a list of items you want to talk about. This will help you get through the important items.
Why didn't you raise me
first
better?
before time? Number 1, why didn't I have any parental guidance?
Yes.
Number 2, how's the weather? Okay. Studies show that 85% of marriages collapse when one spouse goes to prison, even for a short stay. But even though the odds look grim, marriages can survive and even thrive behind bars.
Maybe they shouldn't, for the most part.
Here are tips for incarcerated spouses. Get over your self-pity and accept responsibility for the actions that put you in prison. Only then can you get a fresh start on your life and marriage. Learn to communicate with your spouse honestly. Your conviction has damaged their trust and confidence in you. Rebuilding your spouse's trust will take time and is essential to saving the relationship. Be sensitive to what your spouse is going through. They are forced to assume many new responsibilities. Yeah, you're not around anymore.
Yeah.
Children should unite you, not divide you. Don't let them play one of you against the other, and don't take the child's side against your spouse, even when the child is right. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Okay, tell your spouse you're sorry and ask for forgiveness. Don't abandon your role as a parent. Make it easy for your spouse to tell you about what is happening at home. Discuss decisions related to the family. Trust your spouse. Do not let others plant suspicions in your mind. Do not let the disappointing experiences of other prisoners make you doubt your spouse's faithfulness and commitment to you. Okay, parenting from prison. Children often think they are somehow to blame for the parent's imprisonment. They may wonder, did I do something wrong? Did daddy go away because he doesn't love me anymore?
Yes.
Did mommy start? Yes. Doing drugs because I was bad? Yes. Reassure your kids. Did my repeatedly asking questions about SpongeBob make him rob a liquor store at gunpoint? Reassure your kids again and again, if necessary, that you are in prison because of what you did, not because of anything they did. They are not to blame. Okay. The biggest risk may be admitting to your kids that you have made some bad choices and asking their forgiveness for the ways you have hurt them. This may not be easy, but by taking this step, you will begin to rebuild strong bonds with your children. Be willing to risk receiving their anger or other strong emotions. Accept that their feelings are normal and don't make them feel guilty or ashamed for having them. Be open to letting them talk through their feelings and concerns with you. This helps them see that you are a safe person for them, someone they can trust to be there for them. All right, I'm just going to have one little more thing and then I'm going to go into my story. Okay, I'm in prison and depressed. Now what? This is just to let people know that medication may be available to you even in prison.
Okay,
but you will have to get a medical or mental health doctor who can make the right diagnosis and prescribe the medication you need. In prison, you might have access to a professional counselor or a psychiatrist who can help you to deal satisfactorily with depressive thoughts. Depression is one of the most undertreated medical illnesses found in prison.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
If you didn't go in depressed, seems
Right.
like you could get depressed.
Maybe it's a good idea just to go in to get free.
Yes, take
know?
advantage of I would think you would need some counseling no matter what.
Yes. Right?
Like, how do you not need it?
Yeah.
It should be part of being in prison, like as a mandatory step of,
Right.
rehabilitation is that you get therapy.
Are you ready for a story?
I would love that.
This is from the Marshall Project. So this is actually maybe an extreme thing about prison, but I'm just going to let you. It's called How I Survived a Year in the Hole Without Losing My Mind. When I went to prison at age 19, my greatest fear was being hurt by other people serving time. So when I passed the prison gates, I took on the persona of a deadly gangster. I did things that landed me in the hole, slang for administrative segregation, over and over. At Potosi Correctional Center, the level 5 maximum security prison in Missouri, where I'm currently serving life without parole for murder, the hole is typically a 7 by 9 foot cement room. This room has a steel door with a slot for receiving meals and a small window to see outside. Inside there is just a cot, a thin mattress, a toilet, and a sink. You can only shower once a week and spend 1 hour outside every day. Sometimes you can't receive mail, and while you can yell out to other prisoners, you can't see them. If you aren't prepared for these conditions, they may make you crazy. In early 2022, when I turned 50, I had just spent a year in the hole in another Missouri prison following a riot. Reverend Mary Mitchell, a minister and longtime friend, asked me how I made it. She wanted to share any advice I had with the other prisoners she corresponds with. Now, to reach an even larger audience, I present my top 10 tips on surviving the hole. Do the time, don't let the time do you. For me, that meant getting up after breakfast and staying up. I refused to sleep the day away. That is incredible to me. Like, just that. Like, you're all by yourself.
No books?
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Exercise will be one of your productive activities in the hole. Set goals you can actually see and feel based on how long you think you'll be in there. For instance, I wanted 6-pack abs, not 8. He's not insane.
All right. Oh,
He may be a convicted murderer, but he's not insane. I started off doing 500 sit-ups and leg lifts every day and gradually increased that number to 3,000. Now I am a unicorn, the rare 50-year-old with a stomach that looks like a Spartan warrior's.
Well, he hasn't watched Riverdale.
Right. Read anything you have access to. The Bible, the Quran, the science of mind, or even the dictionary. The guards, I call them demogorgons, would rather see you driving yourself crazy than reading any type of literature. Learn new things even if they're small. I increased my vocabulary by studying the dictionary. I also taught myself how to write legibly and with my left hand. Every morning, I would write down a positive affirmation with my right hand, then rewrite it with my left. Simple things like this can produce beautiful benefits. Stay out of frivolous conversations with other captives. For example, discussions about government politics, street politics, and prison politics only lead to arguments. I'm guessing this means in the hour that you're out. Instead, focus on topics that sharpen others, like spirituality, history, business, and legal issues. Because the Demogorgons often have an agenda to keep you in administrative segregation, they will try different methods to make you angry. Learn to observe but not respond to their antagonism. When a correctional officer jacks you for your reaction or shower time, don't get mad, act out, and end up with 30 more days in the hole. Just do your exercises in your cell and wash up in the sink. Always leave the cell when the opportunity allows. Go to the shower, go to rec, go to medical. Go anywhere you're allowed because getting out of that cement box destroys the onset of what I call cell anxiety. This form of anxiety occurs when you avoid leaving your cell because you believe the guards are going to do a search and take something you deem valuable. To be sure, the Demogorgons will take things from you, but when you are always leaving, they tend not to enter your cell because you don't exhibit the fear that most do. Write letters to your loved ones, to ministers in your faith, to libraries and organizations that send literature to prisoners. Write the courts about your issues you find unfair. Write to legislators about potential laws. Just write. This is a good one. File grievances about any legitimate issues. I have filed complaints about live electrical wires hanging out of torn outlets and water coming from the ceiling. I've written grievances about how the case managers handled my legal materials when I was in the hole. I've also advocated for my rights to have a religious text besides the Bible and the Quran. Administrators hate prisoners who file paperwork because it forces them to do something other than torturing you. They may release you more quickly than they would a man who has no complaints about the situation.
The squeaky wheel.
Yes. Always practice your faith. Day in and day out, I prayed and meditated and took Bible-related correspondence courses. I also practiced martial arts, breathing techniques, and I worked on improving my foresight. For me, my faith is the most important survival tool. Faith is what got me through my worst of the worst times in the hole.
Whoa. I honestly think I would have just rather have been risking my life. Like he says he did that to protect himself from other prisoners, right? But I'm like,
that's what he said, but yeah.
I mean, that might have just been he was being bad. But I feel like I would be like, I'll just risk it.
Yeah,
I'll just risk it.
Right.
That sounds worse.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was like when you buy your own crap. What's the expression? I don't know. You believe your own bullshit.
Myth, kind of. Yeah. Yes, mythology.
Maybe he became gangster because he initially put on this thing. I mean, he's been there for a long time. He's 50, and this was when he was 19. He got in. So
that's wild.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that much isolation.
Don't go to jail.
I think
don't.
Yeah.
I recommend do not going to jail. Do not going?
Yeah.
I recommend not going.
I also recommend do not going. Both. I think both are good pieces of advice.
All right. Well, on that note, we will be right back.
Let's be back.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Hi. How was your break?
It was revolutionary.
Wow.
Yes, it was one
Did you cause a riot?
Yeah.
Did you overthrow the bathroom?
I did. It's
How did it work out?
everything's going well
Good.
down there.
What?
I don't know. You brought up the bathroom, so
Well, that's where you were, so I
Yes.
assumed that's where the riot happened, or
it
the
did.
revolution.
There was a riot.
Well, on the first half of the show, we talked about how to survive prison, and now we're going to talk about how to survive jail with our favorite guest, Regan Burns.
He's back in the house. So just to clarify, you've already discussed prison,
Yeah.
which is like when you get sentenced, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I've come here to be like the minor league
Yeah.
part of the prison story.
Don't dismiss
this
yourself.
is just how we thematically link the
But
two.
I mean, what if my story of how to survive jail? I mean, you probably already covered the hard thing, like how to avoid.
It wasn't like don't get shanked in the shower. It was more
Oh,
like,
right.
if you're depressed, go get a therapist. I mean, it was pretty.
Yeah, I did survive a.
Well, wait,
a
before
night
we
jail.
get to that,
Yeah.
I do want to know. But before we get to that, I want to talk
Yeah.
quickly about two projects. One is your podcast you do with your son,
I do.
Parental
Guidance is neglected. So
'Cause
yeah.
you watch movies. Now, your son is in college, but you're still doing it?
So here's the thing. We do the podcast for two reasons. One, he loves to podcast. He's got several that he does with friends about music and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
And two, it's an excuse for me to talk to my son.
I love it.
while he's away at
Yes.
college.
So
but I
sweet.
also, as you may know, I'm a huge film
Yes.
freak, and I see pretty much everything. So immediately when I knew he was leaving for college, I was like, we should do a podcast where you are forced to Zoom with me once a week.
So sweet.
And we talk about whatever.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, which I'm
Yeah.
extremely
Oh.
excited about, is that you're going to be on the Righteous Gemstones this season.
I am.
How fun.
I
and
am.
this is not just a one episode.
It's 2 episodes, and I'm pretty sure it's the last 2 because it's the series big finale.
Whoa.
Which is crazy because last time it really seemed like the series finale.
You know what? I think that, and I didn't bring it up when I was there, but I get the sense that they truly believe that every season probably is the last. So
Right.
they make
They give you
sure
an
that if they
ending.
don't get the heads up, and I
Yes.
think HBO works like that. I think they're like, we're not 100% sure. They don't really give clear signs.
Okay.
So I think the last thing that Danny and Jody and all them want to do is to have some big open-ended, like, we never found out what happened.
Hey.
Yeah.
So this one definitely, this one definitely has you could walk away and go, the Gemstones is done.
Okay. Let's get into your story.
My story, how to
Yes.
survive. So you did prison. I did go to jail. And I'll try to condense as much as possible. Most stories that involve men going to jail for a night or two usually starts with I was in college.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was in college, and I was at a party late one night, about midnight, 12:30. Very, very intoxicated, Garen. And at the time, I was a freshman in college, and I was deeply in love with Lisa, who was a senior.
How did you even
boy.
know a senior in college?
We were both on the gymnastics teams. I was a gymnast in college.
Wait a
So-
second. Wait a second. That,
How to survive.
you were a
Yeah, I was a gymnast.
Aren't you way too tall to be a gymnast?
I was the tallest gymnast in the NCAA at the time competing. Yeah,
Like in the country.
in the U.S. Yeah, they actually
Wow.
told me that the USGA mentioned that to me at a couple competitions.
Uh-huh.
I would go to some schools where, the high bar with when you swing around,
Yes.
they would have to pull all the mats out because I would either have to bend my legs to
Right.
not
Yes.
smack them.
Yes.
And
Right.
so all the coaches would be there to slide in mats in case I flew off or for the dismount. So we would actually go to schools where they're like, our rings don't go any higher, so he's going to have to bend his knees or.
Which defeats sort of the purpose of the
Yeah.
uniform.
Yes.
What was your equipment? What was your best?
I did all around, but I
Uh-huh.
was nationally ranked on pommel horse and rings were my two best.
Whoa.
Love it.
Yeah.
I had
I
no
was,
idea.
So I was really into pommel guy this year. Remember?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
of
I was
course.
like,
he
oh,
was on
my-
Dancing with the Stars, I heard.
I know. Was he?
Yep.
I bet he did well. Us pommel horse guys really
Yeah.
know how to move.
He was adorable.
Yeah. So, I was a gymnast and deeply in love with Lisa. And after getting very intoxicated at a party, I decided that this was the night I was going to pronounce my love for Lisa.
Best to do it when you're really drunk, yeah.
So it was winter, dead of winter. Went to the closet to get my coat, and sure enough, there just happened to be a 12-pack of beer tucked back in there. I'm like, well, I'm obviously going to take this with me.
Right.
And I'll crack one open as I go.
Sure.
So wasn't driving, wandering into the night. About 5 minutes in, I realized I don't know where Lisa lives. But I think I know the general area.
Okay.
So I figure I'll get to the general area and then figure it out. So walking through the snow, carrying a 12-pack, an open thing of beer, I finally get to the neighborhood I believe Lisa resides in.
Okay.
So she doesn't live on campus. You're off campus.
Off campus, yes.
Because she's a senior.
She's a senior.
Yes.
So I know where the apartment building basically is. So at about, I guess, 1:30 in the morning when I'm in the area, very drunk, I decide she's got to be close. If I start screaming Lisa's name, she'll hear me. And just like Romeo and Juliet, she'll come from one of these windows.
God, this is so romantic.
I know. Your hearts are swelling, ladies.
Still 11 beers left.
Yeah. Oh, maybe a couple less, Gare. So I start screaming, Lisa, it's me. It's me, Regan, Lisa. I don't think I did it very long because I remember the blue and red flashing lights around me. Now, here's where you have to bear with me.
Okay.
I didn't understand they were cops. I didn't understand that I was doing anything wrong. All I knew is that somebody was keeping me from doing what I need to see Lisa. So within seconds, I remember my hands were up against the car.
No. Yes.
And I'm trying to explain, no, you guys don't understand. Lisa, she's the love of my life and blah, blah, blah. And I remember the police officer turning me to face him. And all I can recall is my right fist clenching
No.
as I turned. And I swung at him.
Oh my God.
And hit him.
No.
In the face?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
But I found out later.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I hit him. And then I took off running.
Oh, my God.
And I think I got about 12 feet before I found out he had a partner.
Yeah.
Who tackled me.
That was good planning on their part.
In the gravel, my face flat into all the rocks. Next thing I know, my hands are thrown behind. I've got the cuffs. I'm in the back. I can see the cop, blah, 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 blah. Just still probably screaming Lisa at this point. It's like, you guys,
Yes.
There's obviously been a mistake.
Oh my God.
So they take me down to the city jail. And I can tell that there's a moment. Here's the first reel to survive. There is a drunk tank with a few other people in there, and there are private cells.
Okay.
Okay. And I immediately see that I'm probably going in there with like the town drunk and a couple dudes that look kind of scary. And I immediately start to go like I'm gonna be sick. I'm like, if I think I'm gonna be sick, at least I'm gonna go into that one.
So you were faking it.
I was faking it.
Got it.
At that point.
Smart.
At that point, I was faking
Your
it.
method.
So I used my acting skills. They had
Yes.
no idea I was thinking about being a theater major at that point in time, to get into the cell that had me isolated. And I think I was still screaming like Lisa or Anita, blah, blah, blah. They put you into a jail. And if you've ever seen a jail, they have, at least I hadn't, they have these steel grates that kind of act as beds.
Okay.
Okay? And I guess some of them have mattresses and some of them don't. Well, mine has a mattress. And I knew I was very close to passing out.
Okay.
So, survival tip number 2, Garen.
Thank you.
I now start feeling really sick. Like I know I'm not. It's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to make it to the little latrine that's in the corner. And by the way, everyone can see the latrine. I don't know even if I had to pee, Danielle.
But I cannot not pee. Like, I have to pee all the time. So I think I'm going to have to
Right.
do it in
But
front
right
of everybody.
there in front of everyone. Yeah.
What choice do you have?
Facts. That's facts. But I started to feel sick, and I said to myself, I don't want to choke on my own vomit.
No, you don't.
Which, as you know, you've been, Kristine, you've been there.
So many nights.
So I pulled the mattress off of the metal framing that has holes in it
Right.
Yes.
underneath, which, as I learned the next day, they take those mattresses out if they think you're going to be deathly ill, because when you do get sick, you face down will go down through the grate. Like if you're lying on your side and it's a mattress or something, it'll keep your head up.
Yeah.
But they literally have the grates, one, because they don't want you to vomit on their mattresses.
Right.
And two, it goes down to like a
Drain?
a drain.
They can hose it all.
They could yes, that's what they can hose the whole thing down.
Okay.
So I took the mattress off. I was actually being polite.
It sounds
to
so
the-
nice.
I was a polite jail.
If only Lisa could see your chivalry.
Yeah.
I know. She heard about it eventually. And she still follows me on Facebook. I mean,
This could still work out.
Lisa, it's not going to happen. And sure enough, I woke up the next morning face down on the mat with vomit out of
Right.
my hand, and it had kind of seeped down into the drain.
You saved your own
Wow.
life.
I saved my own life in prison. So I
I
faked.
can't believe you thought that far ahead.
I know, because I don't even remember hitting. I mean,
Yeah.
it came in waves. I just specifically remember I don't want to be in there. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, they left me in one with the mattress. Maybe I wasn't as bad as I thought, but I said, I'm going to be proactive here and pull it off. Of course, I slept on a steel grate.
Yeah, that
or
sounds
passed,
awful.
passed out on a steel grate.
You
I
like
should say.
punched a cop. You didn't have the sense there.
Right, but then
you
he's
knew
like,
how to
"Oh, I
save-
don't want to choke."
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Okay.
So I wake up the next morning, dry vomit on my mouth, and I immediately start screaming, I need to see someone. I'm still completely obliterated.
I'm sure.
I'm like, I need to talk to someone. And a couple of guys in the cell next to me are like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, I don't belong here. I need to see someone. And finally, an officer came in and said, we're going to take you in to see the magistrate in about an hour. Just calm down. Brought me like a thing of juice and water, which I think I vomited.
Oh yeah.
And an hour later, I go in to see, I guess, the magistrate or the head, whatever. So when I walk in the room, Garen, I can see there's a police officer in the room off to the side. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I think that's the guy I hit last
Oh.
night. And he's just standing there stoic or whatever.
Yeah.
So at this point, you remembered that you hit someone, or they had told you?
I remembered that there had been physical altercations, and
Okay.
that guy was involved.
Gotcha.
And the magistrate said, well, I just want to let you know that this is what we brought you in for, and these are the charges that you're facing.
Right.
And he went, intoxication of a minor, open alcohol in public, possession of alcohol by a minor, resisting arrest, and striking an officer.
Oh, God.
And the last two are felonies.
Oh God. Oh God.
And then he just went silent.
Oh God.
And then I went, well, what are we going to do now?
Uh-huh.
So I went, make the tears happen, and I started crying as hard as I can. And trust me when I say part of me wanted to cry, but there was
Yes.
definitely a part of me who was like, you got to turn it up now. If you got any theater and you do it now.
Right.
And I started when I said, I'm just a college kid here in town. I'm failing out of school. I wasn't. I was making great grades. I said,
I'm too tall for the phrase.
my family life is horrible. My father just left my mother, which he had, but when I was 3. And I'm like, my dad left me, and I'm in college. I don't even know how I'm going to pay for anything or whatever. And I remember I'm just telling this incredibly lie-filled story, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw the officer, and I saw what might have been like a small smile crack on his face, and I went, I think I'm going to get out of this.
Uh-huh.
I think I can. Like, there's an opening here, and they hear my whole sob story, and he goes, well, you struck Officer, I don't even remember his name, Powell, we'll say, and first thing you need to do is apologize to him. And I turned and just, I'm so sorry, I don't know what to do. And he goes, you landed a pretty good one in my ribs.
Ooh.
And he goes, so you might have, he knew I was a gymnast. I had told him at that point. He goes, I don't know if you have a future as a gymnast, but you might have one as a boxer or some little thing like that. I think in retrospect, I think I swung, but drunk guy swing, like my hand wasn't bloodied and I didn't have I think I just, it was probably one of those drunken,
right.
But it was the best you can at 12:30 in the morning. And, I shook his hand. I'm so sorry. And he left. And I was like, okay, so I've done that. And the officer sits down and he goes, our magistrate, he goes, we're going to drop the 2 felony charges.
Oh, my God, you got so
We're going to drop one of the misdemeanors. There will be a fee for the other 2 misdemeanors, and you will have to do some community service.
Okay.
I'm going to let you know that as long as if you declare yourself guilty of them,
right.
Unless you want to go, I want to go to court. I've been framed, officer. None of this happened, Lisa. Lisa, I don't even know anyone named Lisa. So I said, absolutely, absolutely. And he was like, and of course, in typical 19-year-old fashion, he was like, do you have any questions for me before I send you to booking and get you signed out, and we'll have someone come pick you up? And of course, I remember my final words were, do you have to tell my mom?
Oh.
You know what I mean? And that's when I was just like, I'm not even close to manhood
Oh.
yet.
Yeah.
So were you 17 or 18?
I was 18. I was a freshman. Yeah,
Okay,
I'd already turned 18.
So that would affect how you're charged, probably, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, I was definitely as an adult.
Yeah.
It was as an adult. Yeah. So filled out the paperwork and called one of my fraternity brothers. I was in a fraternity. I just rushed. So this was in the winter. I'd finished the fall rush and had just gotten in and called. And by the way, quit the fraternity after the first year. I'm just not a fraternity
Yeah.
guy. But I will say for that entire second semester, I was the man in my fraternity.
I bet.
Like it was, like, hey, did you guys hear what Regan did? Like it was like, tell the story again. And of course, and back then I was like, well, this cop was in my way and
Beat the shit out of me.
yeah. And then I guess to finish the story, because everyone will wonder what happened with Lisa.
Yes.
Lisa was dating another guy on the gymnastics team who was a senior, who she eventually married, and they are still married today.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So I never even had an in. I didn't even know they were dating. I was like,
okay.
I saw Pete every day, and I was like, hey, Pete. And I can even remember, like, what's going on with Lisa? And I think they were keeping it on the DL or something.
Okay.
She caught wind of it, of what happened, I think, a week or two later, and realized that it was in her neighborhood and kind of would have been going on. And I didn't say anything. I avoided her at practices because they all worked out on one half of the gym and I on the other. And I remember she came up to me at one point because I was sure as hell not going to approach her. And she was like, hey, just want to let you know what I heard. And that was very sweet.
Oh. Wow.
was very
she
sweet.
has a very low
I know.
bar.
I know.
Wow.
And that's all we ever talked about it. But what's funny is in the back of my head, in that moment where she said that was very sweet, I was like, maybe I still got
Of course.
maybe I still got a chance here. Maybe this all pays off. But yeah, when it comes to jail, I got 3 rules here: stay out of the drunk
Yes.
tank.
Yeah.
Set up your stage for how you feel appropriately, and lie.
I can't. That's so good.
Man, I just knew I had to act and I had to lie to get out of that. Because can you imagine how much my life would have changed had I been a convicted felon?
No playing snobby country club
Country
guys
club
for
guys.
you. No.
I think
Yeah.
it helps to be white in that story. Maybe
It probably helps to look like
little
you.
number 4, be like
Yeah.
look like you belong in a
Yeah.
country club, and
Yeah. Blonde white guy.
You think at a college town in Southern Virginia in the late 80s, white helped me? You think that had any bearing?
You're
on-
right.
yeah, I don't know what
So-
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Did your mom find out about it?
She did not.
Ever?
Oh,
No.
wow.
No. Has no idea about this story.
You don't feel comfortable even telling her.
I may block this podcast from her, her phone.
But it's one of her favorites.
She's our biggest fan.
She's a Patreon
regularly
member.
emails
So
us.
I tell you this every time, but you know who's just a massive fan.
Your
my
wife, yeah.
Oh, man, she said to say hi to all three
Oh,
of you.
so sweet.
She's like, they don't know me, but I know them.
I know her.
I know you do. But
Well,
Garen and
I
Kristine.
love her.
Yeah, she's
my new best
So
friend.
sweet.
I will literally walk in and catch her at home and hear her giggling and laughing hysterically in the other room.
So nice to hear.
And I'm like, are you listening to Danielle and Kristine? She's like, yeah.
That's
And I say,
sweet.
what was so funny? And she always says the same thing. You won't get it. she goes, you won't get it.
Well, this is our way to find out that Regan doesn't listen to us.
Yeah, I do listen. I do.
So what won't you get?
I don't know. Because she always says she laughs hardest at something that you two kind of connect on.
Yeah.
Or, it's like it's not. I won't get it. It's like you won't appreciate it.
She's a woman probably of our age, and so
Yes.
We're talking about period.
Yeah,
something
we're
like
always
that.
doing. We dedicate a whole chunk of every episode to talking about menstrual cycles.
Do you have stories like that, Kristine?
Yeah, I've been in the jailhouse.
You
I
have
wasn't
been to
put in a
jail.
cell, but I did run from the police as a teenager.
And they catch you?
Yeah.
What were you running for?
Well,
What happened?
I was out with teens. I was a wayward teen.
I like that she said I was 37. but
I was out with some teens.
To clarify, I was
attracted to teens. I've reformed. I was also very young. I think I was maybe 13 or 14.
Oh, so you were with bigger kids.
One had a license, but most of us were younger, 14, 15, and we were out cruising the town because that's all you could do in a small town.
Hang out.
We were drinking, getting high. I was very high, and it was probably 4 a.m. So we're out past curfew.
Ooh.
Our small town had a curfew. You had to be, in by midnight. And we got pulled over by the police. We were parked, I think, getting high at a bowling alley parking lot. Just listen to White Snake, smoking some pot.
White Snake. We just hit the time zone. on
Yeah, we
that.
did. Still the
First
night.
off, did you grow up in Footloose?
Yes.
What town?
Yes.
At 12 o'clock?
I know, I've never heard this.
Police
I don't know.
officer with the flashlight?
Yes,
Like me.
the same town that has a magistrate, I guess.
I know. I was like, where are you? Are you in London?
I know. I couldn't. I know that's not the word. I don't. But he wasn't a cop.
He was wigged. The wigged magistrate. I don't know. So we both grew up in Footloose in London in the 1800s. Jack the Ripper was out.
You can't be out here by
That's
yourself.
why you had a curfew.
Jack the Ripper's running wild.
Wow.
So the police said, follow us back to the police, or we're going to follow your car back to the police station.
Oh, geez.
So they followed us back to the parking lot.
Wait, they wanted drunk teenagers to drive?
Yeah, that seems odd.
So stupid.
I mean, they didn't breathalyze the driver or anything. They were just like, you guys can't be out.
Oh,
We're
okay,
going to follow
okay.
you back to the police station and
Okay.
basically like call your
Call
parents.
your parents.
The girl next to me, I was maybe having a sleepover with her, I don't remember, was like, I'm already on house arrest and
House arrest. She have an anklet on? Who are you hanging out with?
She's doing insider trading? Why is she on house
she
arrest?
said, I can't go back to juvie.
house.
Fucking Scorsese movie. I can't go back to the slammer.
I'm going to
Then Bobby handed me something and said, swallow this quickly.
I'm going to run.
I thought you guys were smoking a joint outside the 7-Eleven, and suddenly balloons of heroin are being.
Go back there.
I can't go back to juvie. I'm going to run.
Oh, okay.
Or and she lived with her grandma because I think her parents were dead or in jail. Like,
Shocking,
this is,
right.
like, right? This is not a romper room, you guys. And I was like, yeah, me too. I'm gonna run too.
You're gonna run.
Because I didn't want to get in trouble.
Right.
Like, I was supposed to be at a sleepover. I'm not supposed to be out high in the middle of the
Mom,
night.
I'm just going to go to a sleepover at my friend who's on house arrest.
House arrest.
Well, I don't even know. We would do this thing when I was a kid, which was I'm going to stay at your house. You're going to stay
Right.
I'm going to stay. And we would just stay out all night.
Right.
That was what we would do.
And it would work.
With these, miscreants. So the police pull in like to the left of the car. We open the car door to the right and we take off running.
Foolproof plan.
And it's like January in Ohio and everything is covered in ice. And we're in like thin little coats because it's whatever. Who cares? It's not like we're in parkas and boots. We're in the worst things. I'm probably in a like leather jean jacket with like fringe coming down.
Right.
Of course.
Take off running in my little go-go boots, and we get, I don't know, like 2 blocks.
Oh, that's farther than I got.
And she slides on the ice, and I go down to help her up, and we're surrounded by
Oh my god! Oh my god! In cars or
on foot.
On foot. Okay.
Because what else do they have to do?
Right.
Like, we're their main crime.
Right.
Had you gotten away, how many kilometers was it to your home or the near? Like, is this police station close to anything? Was there?
Yeah, the police is, it's like in the center of town. I would have been home in 12 minutes.
12
First of all, you had
Oh.
to get to Canada.
Why are we talking about kilometers?
I know. That's where the magistrate is.
Magistrate.
Magistrate. I'm trying to. There's a theme to this one,
I
and I'm
see.
trying to keep it going.
All right.
I was like, I'm going to have to go with minutes because I don't know kilometers.
I love Garrett. You guys are stealing clothes that it's hanging from dry, like in a prison break. They're trying to change their identity. Scrape together any change you have to get a bus ticket out.
Oh, who would have gotten on that bus?
So they walk you back to the police
So, yeah.
station.
Yes. And then my parents aren't home. So my mom is remarried. So they're calling my house. My parents are out. They're out.
Right.
No. My mom, I don't remember. My parents must have been out. My stepbrother answers the phone. He comes and gets me.
Okay.
And I'm like, please don't tell our parents. Please don't tell our parents,
Right.
please. He does.
Of course.
And then I have to go to court
Whoa.
over this
At 13.
because of breaking curfew.
Wait, they didn't test you for alcohol or anything?
No.
Or resisting arrest or fleeing or any of that?
No.
You're kidding.
No, they just like gave us a stern talking to. I mean, I don't know what happened to Christy. She might have had to go to juvie.
Yeah. How many years were you under house arrest?
None.
You didn't get house arrest? Nothing.
Well, I mean,
A fee, probably a fine.
I think there was maybe I had to go to court and maybe pay a fine, or just it was kind of like, don't do this again. It was.
Wow. I can't believe they didn't like get you for drinking and being high. I guess they didn't know.
I don't think they really. I mean,
Cared.
I think they knew they could. I'm sure they the car rolled down the windows and just pot was like.
So 2 of you and the other girl ran. What about the driver of the car? Did they abandon their car, or did they just stay and go, well...
They all probably went into the police station.
They all
right?
went into the police station. I think everybody. It was like the driver. You know what? I don't remember what happened to those guys. It was all guys.
Oh, that sounds so safe, Chris. I just...
Oh my God! If you think that was the most dangerous situation I was in as a teenager, that's a whole other podcast we'll just
my
do of every time I got in myself in a dangerous situation.
Did that encounter curb your behavior at all? Was it a wake up at any point, or were you like, we were back out the next night? Or
not at all.
Not at all.
No, I don't think that happened until I was like a senior in high school.
That had no bearing. You weren't like, what a fearful thing. I'm not going to push that again. You were like...
zero.
I only hit 3, maybe 4 other police officers after that. So I definitely...
you learned your lesson.
I pulled back a bit. You sound
That's
like you
good.
went full throttle.
She went
Yes.
full hog.
Wow. Good for you in jail.
Regan, that was a great story.
I'm sorry,
We
it
love
was a
having you
A
here.
little long-winded.
No,
but
no, it was fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
exactly the right amount of wind.
Oh my God. When does the Righteous Gemstones start? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, we'll look that up.
I want to say it's in the spring. I feel like they're almost a summer show that starts in late
Okay.
spring.
Ooh, that gives me time to catch up.
Yeah, and I saw Edie posted like a couple teasers, and I think once you start posing, teasers,
Yeah. Oh,
so-
good.
Good sign.
Yeah, so I know there's some really huge names this season, and I have watched the show, and it is, if you like it over the top, they go balls to the wall
we
over
love
there
it. Yeah.
in South Carolina where
Oh,
they film.
so cool.
Yeah,
All right. Well, again, thank you so much.
of course,
Great
anytime.
story.
I love seeing you guys.
And we will be back right after this with What Did We Learn Today? Kristine,
Danielle.
are you ready to learn what we learned today?
Yes, so much readiness here.
Hey, boys, girls can fix cars and own them.
Oh my God, it's legal in most states.
Most.
According to the Left Business Observer, the federal prison industry produces 100% of all military helmets, war supplies, and other equipment. What? The workers supply 98% of the entire market for equipment assembly services, 93% of paints and paintbrushes, 92% of stove assembly, 46% of body armor, 36% of home appliances, 30% of headphone microphone speakers, and 21% of office furniture, airplane parts, medical supplies, and much more. Prisoners are even raising seeing eye dogs for blind people. With all of that productivity, the inmates make about 90 cents to $4 a day.
Jeez.
Huh.
Wasn't that on the ballot of the California election of that not being allowed, but it didn't pass?
No.
We
failed to pass slavery, ban slavery in California.
We can force them to work.
Ridiculous.
Still.
Ear Hustle launched in 2017 as the first podcast created and produced in prison, featuring stories of the daily realities of life inside California's San Quentin State Prison, shared by those living it. Co-founded by Bay Area artist Nigel Poor alongside Earlonne Woods and Antoine Williams, who were incarcerated at the time, the podcast now tells stories from inside prison and from the outside, post-incarceration. In 2020, Ear Hustle was named a finalist for a Pulitzer Prize in audio reporting.
Wow, I said that.
Yeah. The first time the category was recognized for bringing audiences a consistently surprising and beautifully crafted series on life behind bars. I'll listen to that. That sounds really interesting.
It does. It does.
According to recent FCC regulations, receiving a call from prison can cost around 21 cents per minute for prepaid or debit calls and 25 cents per minute for collect calls on interstate calls. However, the cost can vary significantly depending on the state and specific prison facility, with some states having much higher rates for in-state calls due to lack of regulation. Long-distance interstate calls usually have capped rates set by the FCC, while in-state calls may be more expensive. Interesting.
Gotta use that 1-800-COLLECT.
Yeah.
Wow, we did it. We made another show.
We did it.
So congrats to us.
Yep.
Yes.
And thank
Forgot
you.
the balloons.
Oh, shit.
Man, Garen, every week we ask you to bring the Mylar balloons.
I forget
We've
every
done
single
it for, I want to say, a couple years now.
Yeah.
And you've forgotten every
Every
single
single week.
episode.
Every single time.
Yeah, we let him come back. And it's really frustrating.
Insane.
We'll have
Forgetting to bring the balloons.
You know,
and for that reason.
as soon as we end this episode, we're going to have a staff meeting. HR staff meeting. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And we hope you're recovered from your Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking about ours soon. But
Yeah.
it hasn't happened for us yet.
Right.
This is weird
I
time,
know.
space continuum.
We'll eventually catch up to real time.
We will.
I guess.
We will. But until we do, remain calm.